Hello and welcome to the FPL PubCast, where this week I am joined by my usual co-host, Trig. Don't call him Triggerlips, the man formerly known as Triggerlips, as someone commented on the last video. By Darius, one of our regular guests. And I said earlier on in the pre-season we were going to be getting the occasional special guest on, and today I am delighted to be joined by Shane, aka FPL veteran from the Double Pivot podcast. How are you, Shane?
Good, mate. Yeah, good. Thanks for asking me on. I don't know about special. Well, in a certain way, probably special guest, but not in the way that most people think. But no, it's great to come on, mate. And I've been watching you from afar, so it's a pleasure to come on.
Yeah, and I have linked the Double Pivot podcast a lot in the title of this video, so do go and check out this stuff. It's you and Kieran, isn't it, mate?
Me and Kieran, yeah.
So do go and check out the Double Pivot podcast. Right, so to jump into it, what we're going to do today. So all of these live streams are any money we make through super chats or anything like that will go to charity. If you wish to donate to either charity, which is better than sending a super chat because YouTube don't take the money, please do so using the links in the description below. They are the two charities of mine who do a lot of work on mental health in the UK, and Street Child United, who work with homeless kids and do lots of great work with them across the globe. Please do join in our PubCast mini league. We've got about 150, 200 in there now. We'd love you to join up. We're all in there, of course. The code to join is S3DHWZ. That's S3DHWZ. You can also click the link in the description, and that will take you there and sign you up automatically. Assuming the FPL website is actually working again, which it wasn't for people, at least in England, for most of last night and today. I don't know if did you guys have any problems with it?
It was all right. It was all right for me. I've been busy day stuff. I've not been on all day.
No, just I wouldn't let me sign in. Anyway, hopefully it's working again now. And please do like to help get the stream out there. Please do subscribe if you're new around here and you like what you see. And please hit the join button if you'd like to check out channel memberships. So before we go on, I'll just have a quick hello to people in the chat. Hi, Combe. Hi to Podner, who finally I'm saying his name correctly. He spent all the Saturday night teaching me how to say his name correctly, didn't he, Greg? Hi to Gravy Dave, to Geddy, to Claire, to Ferrenden, Noah, and Sparta. Hi, mate, John. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a quick chat about, knee jerk, I'm going to call it, and tonight's game and what we think the effects might be on our game week 1 teams and also the Charity Shield. Then we're going to have a quick look at predicted points from RobT. Then we're going to have a look at the fixtures and give our predictions. Then we're going to look over our teams for game week 1 as they are currently. Then we've got a couple of special segments, one that I have added in and one that D-Unit's added in, and we won't spoil them till we get to them. And then at the end, we'll be open for a Q&A for any questions you guys have towards the end. So, lads, the reason I put this in is... Right, so I'll be honest with you, a bit of a spoiler. I have currently got Van Dijk, Wirtz, and Salah in my draft. And after the Champions League on Sunday, everyone was taking them out, particularly Van Dijk. Salah, I know Darius isn't a fan of particularly going in. And then we've also got this game, obviously, tonight, kicking off at 8 o'clock, where Solanke, if he plays, we've got other options from Tottenham. Say that Porro gets an assist tonight and keeps a clean sheet, or Solanke gets a couple of goals. Is everyone going to be rushing them into their teams? And should they do that? So I'll come to you, Shane, first as our guest. What are your thoughts on how the general thoughts on this?
Yes, every time someone scores in pre-season, get them in, knee jerk, and get your team full. No, don't. I think you have to have balance for it, really. We're always reactive, in the community. So we'll see a pre-season, someone will score, or someone put in a good performance. We have to get them. And I think as it gets closer to the deadline, we kind of reason with ourselves and we're like, actually, having like 4.5 defenders isn't probably the best play. So,
No.
Yeah, everyone likes to twist and turn, fixtures and stats for how they want. But generally, I try not to knee-jerk, even pre-season or during the game weeks. But it is hard because it does mold what you want to do, essentially, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Trig, without giving us any spoilers, mate, is your draft been affected by the Champions League, by the charity? It's not even called that anyway, is it? The Community Shield, or will it be by the results tonight?
I think the knee-jerking with the Community Shield is ridiculous because I think Liverpool are actually a better option because they lost against Palace than if they'd won. If they'd beaten Palace 5-0, they would have been all complacent and everything against Bournemouth and probably would have done worse than they're going to do because now they're going to be 100% focused. They would have worked on what their problems were. And I think we're going to see an extra motivated Salah. Having missed his penalty, I think he's going to go for it. As for Tottenham,
Greg, you're having a bit of sound issues there, mate. You seem
we should be, but thanks. Is my sound not working?
No, you're just freezing up, mate. So for anyone watching, Triggerlips is in a special hut somewhere in the Aldi's, preparing his team. It might have just been an issue, mate. Go again. You were just breaking up there. Maybe start what you're saying again, mate.
Yeah. Is it working now? So
seems to be fine now. Yeah.
The Community Shield, I think it's ridiculous to knee-jerk in that because I think Liverpool play better because they lost to Palace than if they'd won 5-0 because they would have been all complacent and on to have a better game when knee-jerk Liverpool players out. As for Tottenham, I think I've frozen again, have I? As for Tottenham, I think it's ridiculous because if Solanke does score 2 goals, he will go in. But the reason he'll go in is because he'll be top of review because they'll adjust his minutes, put his minutes up. Everyone will take Mateta out and put Solanke in their teams.
Darius, mate, what's your thoughts, mate?
About the Community Shield or tonight's game with Spurs?
Both. Are people already knee-jerk too much for the Community Shield? And, are we all going to knee-jerk tonight if Porro keeps a clean sheet and gets a couple of defensive contributions, for example?
Everyone knows my thoughts about Salah. In fact, Sunday just confirmed exactly what I've been banging on about all pre-season, that the man, he's used to playing in a very different system, and that Liverpool system that I saw on Sunday was not the system that he's used to banging in the goals in or getting the assists. All he had to do was look at the right-hand side for Liverpool on the weekend, and Frimpong plays so differently to Trent. Like Trent allowed and enabled Salah. Frimpong almost wants to be where Salah is. And the amount of times on the weekend, if you actually watched the game where Frimpong just ran straight past him, didn't even look at him. And then just even the goal that Frimpong got, by the way, was obviously not a shot. It was a cross. But essentially, that's exactly what it was. That is not something Trent would have done in any game that I ever remember him playing for Liverpool. I just think that people are not realising. I think the Solio and review things that Trig's been given a great insight in, they haven't factored in the fact that Salah is not playing with the same players this season. He's not going to be the main man. If anything, what it did knee-jerk me, I thought I'd actually had Gakpo on my team, but then I watched the game and I was like, I need Wirtz in my team. But everything was going through him that was going forward for Liverpool, which is why at the moment I've got Wirtz in my team selection. But I am very open to having Gakpo because I really want that extra 0.5 so I can have Collins in my team. We'll talk about that later. And then tonight, I still don't understand why people think that Spurs are any good. I don't think Spurs could do anything tonight to make me think that they're not a basketball case of a team. I honestly think that PSG are going to murder them tonight. It'll be at least 4-0, and everyone's sitting there and be like, "Oh, I've been saying, why have you got Van de Ven? Why have you got Pedro Porro in your defense? They can't defend. They can't keep clean sheets." I think after tonight, people might actually start going, I think the review and the Solio programs have it wrong. They actually can't defend. Thomas Frank is not a defensive coach. He's good at creating big chances. There's nothing in his MO at Brentford that says that he can defend. He kept 8 clean sheets at Brentford last year. Tottenham kept 6. There's not that much difference.
On the opposite side of it, as Trig was saying, that people might write Liverpool off because they were so poor on Sunday. Do you think there could be a possibility that Spurs will get thrashed, people write them off, and then they'll end up doing really well against Burnley on game week 1? Yeah,
1-0 Burnley, I'm telling you. You've heard it here first. Put your bets on, boys. I'm telling you, it's paying in.
Cool. Okay, all right. That's a quick look in the chat. So, Nick is lagging. Yeah, we know. Hopefully, we'll monitor it as it goes along. We might have nightmares suggesting maybe you need to reboot Trig, but we'll see how we go before we make any rash decisions. All right, let's have a look.
I might switch to my phone.
Okay, mate. We'll see how it goes. You're all right at the minute. See how it goes as we go along. Yeah. All right. So this is RobT's updated spreadsheet, or at least it was the most up-to-date one on the 11th of August. So this, for people who are listening and not watching, which won't be very useful because you can't see the chart, is basically a chart of predicted goal contributions, goals and assists across the entire season. And me and Trigger, we've brought this up a few times, mate, haven't we? Along pre-season. I think this is the most complete picture we've got yet. So I was just wondering, obviously I don't want to talk for every player. Like, is there anyone here that stands out? I'll give you guys a few minutes you wanted to pick out, or either for being better than you might have been thinking they were going to be, or worse. I mean, the one that stands out to me, first of all, is Sesko in for, I think, is he coming at 7.5? Maybe I'll hand over to Darius first to talk about this one. What do you think about him, mate, at 7.5? And what do you think here? He's predicted to get 13 goals and assists, basically.
Sorry, what am I looking at?
Sesko, mate. So he is...
Oh,
Sesko.
Sesko from the Tesco meal deal. Wow. Okay. It's quite low, really. Goals, 10.8. Assists, 2.6. I think the assists could be pretty fair, to be honest, because I think he's going to be doing a lot of finishing. I've actually got Sheshko coming in at about 15 goals. So I reckon it's about 4.2 goals under par.
Yeah. What do you reckon the price? 7.5. Fair?
Oh, dirt cheap. I tell you what, if he scores against Arsenal, he's going to be the quickest moving player in the game this season by a country mile. Everyone knows that Man United players, they are like the hottest thing. When they are hot, they go up in price so quick. If Man United shock Arsenal on Sunday, which I think is half a chance, I honestly think there could be some mad price rises for the guys that do well.
Yeah. Yeah, Shane. What?
Darius, I was just going to say there, Gary. Darius, Sesko, you got him to score 15 goals. So about the same as what United scored last season.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the way I look at it, Sheshko's going to score about 10 more than Højlund, and Højlund, I think, got 5 goals last year. So, and he was crap. Yeah. Let's be honest, he was crap. So I think
I think about right. No, I think about right. He's a class player, and they've got more attacking threat now. So I think he might actually be good. But in terms for you, Gary, for good and bad, they've got some players on here. I mean, for one that stood out, Solanke almost in the top 10. I mean, he'll be injured for half the season, right? So that's just, I can't really see that. Foden as well. I mean, how is he going to fit into City? Is he going to fit in last season? Season before last, they had a great season, but, last season it was pretty poor. Is Strand Larsen been knocked down then? Because this is the updated version. Is that right?
Yeah, I assume so, mate, if he was higher before, yeah.
Yeah, he was, and obviously, and like Darius was saying, there's so much stuff to factor in here. So, I mean, it's good to have a long view at this and kind of look from afar. But there's so many different factors. It gives you roughly, but I mean, the top 10, how it is, I would say it's pretty set. I think Wirtz will be higher up there. I really do. I kind of echo what Darius was saying. Salah will have a bit of a drop off, but listen, he's still a class player, so he's still going to be up there. But in terms of the poor ones, Wood as well, I think he'll be a bit lower down than that. 12.3 goals. I can't see him scoring that much this season. Last season he done fantastic, but he's not usually that kind of player. He's not usually that clinical, is he? So I don't think he'll be up here. Kind of the second half of the sheet, I like Sherky. I don't know if he's going to start for City, and I don't know how often he'll come in, but if he can get a regular start for City, I think he'll be fairly up there, because apart from Haaland, Marmoush, where Foden is, I can see him taking Foden's place instead. And if they've got Foden, Haaland and Marmoush that high, I think he could also be up there. Apart from that, there's not too many that it's hard to say, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because you're long form. So unless you're going to keep these players, for one, Strand Larson, people are all over Strand Larson. Yep, got to get him in because of the long season involvements. Listen, that's fine, but you're keeping Strand Larson for the whole season. I don't think so. And if you are, I think you might want to relook at your strategy. So, yeah, I would say it's about there.
Yeah, Nick, anything stand out to you here, good or bad? Overrated, underrated?
Gordon looks very high, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Surprised he's so high.
Yeah.
I mean, he's above Mateta and above Cunha, Wood. So very strange. And Gorkia's above Watkins is interesting too, and above Wirtz. So I was thinking, so everybody's got Watkins in at the moment, but Arsenal are home to Leeds in game week 2, and he could be the one that really rises in price really quickly. If he scores against Man United, which he probably will, because they'll probably put a few past them tomorrow or Sunday, whenever it is. And his price is going to go flying up, and Watkins' price will immediately come under pressure because they're at the same price. And there'll be a massive switch to Gorkias. And that's the only thing putting me off starting with Watkins at the moment, because if he doesn't score, he's going to come under immediate price pressure.
Yeah.
I hope that sounded all right, did it? Because
yeah, it sounded better, mate. Sounded better.
For those that don't realise, I'm halfway up a mountain, and my internet's rubbish at the moment.
I think
I took myself off to a mountain retreat to pick my team.
Yeah, Shane?
There's one I was just looking there that people are quite confident on a bit of Everton, but talk about Ndai and Barry. They've got Barry up there for almost 9 goals for his first season in a team that don't really score goals. I don't
because he's taking the penalties.
Yeah, they didn't get many last season, did they? I mean, that's probably the best rate to score, actually. Get some dice in there, but yeah, they're quite low down. But it's good. Listen, if you're thinking about Ndai, it's good to have him, maybe.
Yeah, the thing that sort of stands out for me, I know we have to take the season as a whole, but for sort of bargains, you've got Sarr and Strand Larson there, both at 6.5. They're above people like Burmo, Sameo, Martinelli. So it does suggest to me that they're over the season, those two might be bargains. Would you agree with that, Shane?
Yeah, again, it's right player, right time, isn't it? It's so difficult to get in. A lot of people are big on Sarr because it's high XG.
I see they've adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
Got. They've adjusted Salah. Salah was above Haaland in the one we looked at a few weeks ago, wasn't he? And now he's below Haaland.
Yes,
yeah. I've just noticed there actually 18 and 10. It might be a wee bit high. Like you're saying, there will be a drop off. I'm not going to talk about my team, but I think there will be a drop off. But yeah, Sarr's. I've seen a few drafts with Sarr in there, and maybe for your points per million, he's good to have in there, and he's a good price point to have in there.
I think he is, yeah. All right, so we're going to go on to our predictions. We're not going to try and spend too long on these. We're going to take one each and give a bit of an overview, and we're just going to do it like that rather than all 4 of us try and give our predictions. So I'll take the first one. I think this is going to be 3-0 to Liverpool. Bournemouth, obviously, they've sold pretty much their entire defence, isn't it? Or Zabani's gone now as well, isn't he, today?
He's going to PSG, yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're going to be deflated morally as well from that. Actually, no, I'll go 3-1 because they have still got a very good attack. I think as Trigger sort of hinted at earlier, I think Liverpool will be, dying to set the record straight after they lost on Sunday. So I'm going to go 3-1 to Liverpool here. Shane, what do you think of Villa Newcastle, man?
Prediction.
Yeah.
It's the early kickoff, isn't it? It's the early kickoff curse. I don't know. It could go either way there. Newcastle, the whole Isaac situation, that's not going to get resolved, is it? So
No.
he said he's not going to play for the club again, which, and the club have been like, all right, no drama, it's just we'll keep you in reserve for 3 years. So I don't really know how that's going to get resolved unless Liverpool come in with a 150 bid, which isn't going to happen. Aston Villa are usually fairly good at home, especially opening day of the season. I could probably see them just edging it. Goals, I don't think it'll be that many goals, but I'll probably go 2-1 Villa.
2-1 Villa.
Watkins double, because he's got a very, very good record against Newcastle. Very good record.
Darius, do you want to give your thoughts on Brighton, Fulham, mate? Give you an exciting one there.
Brighton, Fulham. Bart Simpson will let a goal in, and Fulham always concede. So I'm going to go 1-1. 1-1, Minte goal, and Raul Jimenez. There you go.
Cool. Trig, Forest Brentford, what do you reckon on that? And by the way, if you really disagree with anyone's prediction, do feel free to say and let us know what you think in the chat. 4-0, Nicoli's going for Villa. Oh, sorry, Trig. Forest Brentford.
I think probably 1-0 to Forest would be most people's prediction. I expect probably a Chris Wood goal. No bonus points for him this week, though, because they've changed the system. And hopefully 9 points from Murillo, plus 2 for defensive contributions to put him up to 11 points. But I'd say 1-0 to Forest would be probably the expected result, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to, what was it, the one with Gary Lineker, his podcast the other day, and they were all saying they reckon Brentford are going to be like probably 17th, the place above relegation with all the issues they have going on, particularly if the Visser situation doesn't sort itself out. Shane, Sunderland, West Ham, what do you reckon for that one, mate?
Actually, at first glance, you think, it's not going to be that good a game. I think it'll be a pretty good game. At first, I thought, listen, Sunderland spent a lot of money, and they've kudos to them. They've gone for it. A lot of teams will think, you know what, we'll just condense what we've got and we'll take the parachute payments. But they've gone for it. They spent a lot of money. Will that translate into results? Time will say. But I think it's probably a little bit tough. They've had a terrible pre-season. They've got so many players to integrate. I could probably see West Ham just edging it. Will they score? I don't think so. I'll go 2-0 West Ham.
2-0 West Ham. Couple of Bowen goals, maybe?
Yeah, boy. I mean, he's involved in everything, isn't he? So, yeah, I think, yeah. And I've been thinking, right, should I have Bowen in there? Because he's a pick that not many people are going for. So, yeah, I think you'll probably get a goal and assist, no doubt.
So, Darius, you were desperate to talk about this one. Spurs versus Burnley. I do have to say, Darius, your thumbnail today for your video was excellent with the flexing of the muscle and a bit of Bowen there. What do you think of this one, mate?
Look, honestly, everyone knows my thoughts on Spurs. But if you just watch my pre-season complete guide, I didn't realize I was that brutal on them until someone wrote in, why do people put in Van de Ven? Why do people put in Pedro Porro? Make it make sense. I don't understand. Spurs, I think, this is one of them games where you sit there and go, they should win this 4 or 5-0. Burnley, promoted team, opening day, they're just going to be cannon fodder. But Spurs being Spurs and their form last year in the Premier League, I actually have now come around to the thinking that this is a 1-0 Burnley win. That's how bad Tottenham are.
Whoa.
They've bought Kudus, who plays in Brennan Johnson's position. Make that make sense because Brennan Johnson's arguably probably their best player since they sold Son. I just don't get him. I honestly don't get that team. I think Daniel Levy's probably become Ed Woodward and he's got no clue what he's doing in terms of buying players. And I think Spurs are going to get rolled. I honestly think this is going to be 1-0. I can see Esteve goal and everyone's going to have him last man on the bench and he's going to get a 15-pointer and everyone's going to be, and then everyone's going, Van de Ven got me no points. Are you kidding me?
To say hello to Napster in the chat and also FPL Discomfort, Kieran, your podcast partners in there, Shane. I'll go Wolves, Man City. I mean, I can see Wolves really struggling this year. Man City, the only thing, do you think it will be an issue that they've only had, is it one pre-season game? Or do you think that they'll just be able to handle that? Trig?
Yeah, I think City will be all right, to be honest.
Right.
But, well, Chelsea have been pretty sharp in pre-season, and they haven't had a pre-season. But they look, they played 1 or 2 games, and they look really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be one of the ones where City go off, and then we all suddenly really panic that most of us don't have any players in their team. So I'm going to go 4-1 to Man City. So, Trig, you wanted to get your teeth into this one as a Chelsea supporter. So on to the Sunday, Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. What do you reckon? What's going to happen here, mate?
Very difficult match, isn't it, for Chelsea? And I actually think the Community Shield will help Chelsea because it's going to really focus them on how good Palace actually are, and they're going to take extra steps to beat them. And Palace could be demoralised after losing their appeal. They could well be demoralised. Quite a few players want to leave now, or are being made to leave. Ezra's going, the defender's going. And it could have an impact on their play. So I'm hoping Chelsea can probably win 2-0, or maybe it'll be 2-1. But I'm hoping for a Chelsea win. If Chelsea want to become the champions that they are, they really need to win this game. Yeah.
Okay, Darius, you're the Man United fan. You wanted to take this one on. Man United Arsenal. Man United Arsenal. I didn't realise that was in game week 1. What do you reckon for this one, mate?
Super Sunday. And I tell you what, I'm actually considering doing a live watch along of this game because I'm pretty excited. There's a lot of FPL assets in there that are going to be quite popular, I think, after game week 1, if not in game week 1. I honestly can see this. Both teams are going to score in this game. There will be no clean sheets in this game. I think there will be goals. I'm unsure on the result, but I can see Man United potentially doing Arsenal. If I was a betting man, I'd put something on like 2-2 or something like that. I feel like both teams are going to score. Gabriel's only played the 1 preseason game. I can see Man United getting, I actually think that Šeško and Gyökeres might both score on their debuts. And everyone would go, because Šeško, obviously, originally it looked like Arsenal were going to sign Šeško. Then it looked like Man United originally were going to sign Gyökeres. It'd be ironic that they both scored against the clubs that were potentially in for them to begin with. It make a lot of sense. I'm going with 2-2. I'm going to go with 2-2 draw. Bruno's going to get a penalty just to fuel the hype bandwagon. Gyökeres is going to score. Šeško's going to score, and Saka's going to get a goal as well. There you go.
Trig, did you want to come in on this one, mate? I thought you gave me a hand signal there.
No. I was just speculating nil.
Okay, all right. So the last one, Jane, you said you wanted to take this one on. Leeds versus Everton, mate, on the Monday night.
I do, and kind of like Darius the same with somebody doesn't get. Some people are getting Spurs players. I don't get people getting Everton players. All right, historically, yeah, they've been good defensively because they play. They get a big man up top, pump it to him, and then just play defensively. But they've not got any new players. We've got 1 new striker who's contested.
Lots of new players.
Yeah, no one of note though. No one that I think would improve their squad type thing.
I disagree. I disagree as well. Grealish.
Yeah.
Grealish.
Oh, Grealish! Come on, Grealish.
Let one of Trig's differentials. What's his name? Stately Home, Dewsbury Hall.
Oh, mate. So basically, all the rejects.
Well, yeah, but
Dewsbury Hall couldn't make it there. I think he'll bring stability. I think Dewsbury Hall brings stability. The other two, I don't know. Time will tell. But listen, Ellen Road's a hard place to go. Leeds are back in the Premier League. It's not going to be the easy 1-0 or the grinded out 1-0 that everyone thinks, especially Everton players. And I think after this performance, people will start considering, do you know what? Maybe Tarkowski or the other Everton defenders they're too expensive. The premium.
Yeah, Claire's just pointing out as well.
Yeah, talk to me.
so I will come to you in a second.
Objection,
Braithwaite, that's what Claire's mentioning in the chat. Do you reckon that's going to seriously affect their defence, Trig and Tarkowski?
Yeah, it might put a few people off buying him. I think we might see quite a few people. Once review downgrades Tarkowski, they'll all start going double Forest defence instead. They'll take Tarkowski out and put Murillo or Milenkovic in, because Tarkowski will possibly be a lesser asset. They might have to put their fullback in as a centre-back or whatever, but people are too high on Everton anyway. They haven't even got a home ground anymore. They're not going to be as good as they were. No, it makes a difference. Every team that gets a new ground, the following season, their home form suffers. So, just because they got 150 points last season doesn't mean he's going to get 150 this season.
I think that's what's changed, isn't it, Nick? That the Everton, especially Tarkowski and Braithwaite, they're now premium assets. You know what I mean? You need to rely on them for clean sheets, as well as, I know you got Defcon and stuff. All right, you can factor that in, and there's so much pressure put on these two lads. I think Tarkowski, he played a game and a half because he was injured for the first few. Braithwaite's done his hamstring. The pressure that are on these two centre backs for the whole back four is too big. They're not going to last the season, and for the performance, I think I'm going to go a 1-0 Leeds win.
Okay, that's a ballsy decision, as FPL Nightmare would say. Quick question from channel member Napster: who do we think is going to get the most yellow cards in game week 1? I mean, I've got no idea. Anyone want to jump in?
Chelsea, probably. They always do.
Chelsea.
What do you mean team-wise?
Yeah, I'd go for Burnley, because I can imagine them chasing a lot and having to try and make a lot of last-ditch tackles.
I'd probably say Wolves. I think Wolves are going to get battered, to be honest. Wolves. Penalty.
There is
penalties.
I'm a little torn on this one. I think that Super Sunday, Man United against Arsenal, has cards written all over it. I think Arsenal might actually get the most cards. But if I wanted to take a couple of wild punts, Spurs, when they get frustrated, they're losing 1-0, could potentially get a lot of yellow cards. And Man City love a yellow card as well, particularly on the breakaway. So even though you just said Wolves, I think City are more likely to get yellow cards than Wolves, just based on the fact that Pep Guardiola loves the old professional fouls.
Okay. All right. So before we get to answering some questions from the chat, we're going to go over our team. So what I'm doing, lads, is I'm going to read, just for the sake of the audio listeners and to make sure this happens, I'm going to read through your team. Then I'm going to hand over to whose team it is, and then we'll let the other guests rip into it. So this is Shane's team. So I'll go through who you've got in, mate, and then I'll let you explain to us. So in goal, Verbruggen. In defence, Van der Ven. This is where my mispronunciations always come out. Milenkovic, De Copier. How do I say his name?
Kuiper.
De Kuiper. Palmer, Gapco, Wirtz, Fernandez, and Belba. Haaland and Watkins up front, and then on the bench you've got Kinski, Williams, Rodon, and Barnes. So talk us through your thinking here, mate.
Putting a lot of 6 million defenders in the squad, and I don't think it's really. I know you got Defcon, but I'd rather use it in midfield. I think midfield's more the key, or attackers. It seems this year we've got so many strikers, whereas before you only had maybe a few options. You know what I mean, in earlier season. So I've definitely more invested in midfield and up top, and that's the main thinking. For me, I'm on a really strict strategy. So this is only for the first 3 game weeks until the national break, and I think this game this year. FPL this year, you've got to attack. I think that's the name of the game. You've got, hop on and hop off. So, and that's what I tried to do in the first 3 game weeks. First game week, obviously, you've got your team. Second, I'll be free hitting, and then third at the end of that will be wild carding. So, for the short time, I've tried. Yeah. So for the short time, I've tried. If you look, it looks beautiful. All the home fixtures, apart from Haaland, all the home fixtures, which is really good. It's really important on a new season as well. Home fixtures are important anyway, but especially at home on your first, your opening game week, you don't want to concede, let alone lose. So that's why I've got that. I've tried to have the most attacking defenders in the back line. So Milenkovic, Van der Ven, and De Kuiper. I think they're fair. I think people are underplaying De Kuiper as well. He's brilliant in his previous club. He's already scored his pre-season. So again, there's the first knee jerk that's come in. I think he's got such a big upside in defence. In mid, listen, everyone's mid's pretty much packed out. You'll see there's one omission from there. The main man Salah's not there, and kind of like Darius was saying there, I think they've gone for the new generation of Liverpool, and you have to expect a little bit of a drop off with Salah. And I'm kind of betting against the odds because not everything goes through him anymore. And there's so many more avenues to score. Ekitike's class up front, you've got Gakpo, and you've got Wirtz in the mid. So that's why I needed still the double up. I think you still got to have the double up with Gakpo, Wirtz. And then others, Palmer, I think he's a non-negotiable. You got to have him in. Bruno Fernandes, again, with DEFCON. And we always think this, and Darius will probably tell, I always think, United, a week ago I was like, Arsenal are going to batter United. But now, I think it will be close. And we always think that, and they always seem to grind out like a 1-1 or a 1-0. Do you know what I mean? Even when they were really bad in the last few seasons. So, and Bruno Fernandes, he'll always be involved. He's got a good record against Arsenal. I think it's two goals and assists in the last 5 or something. One's a pen, so he'll probably get a pen like he's in there. The other one in mid is Belieber. Again, more for, you need a DEFCON in there, I think, for all season. And I think he's pretty good. He likes a wee goal now and again. And this season, I think he'll probably move clubs this season. He's a class act. He's really too good.
Yeah, we've got a comment from Lobby724 saying audio in and out. If anyone else is having problems with the audio, can you let me know? Because there's nothing else to suggest there should be any problems with the audio. So if there are there's any problems with the audio, it may just be you, Lobby. But
it's probably the accent. It's probably my accent. I've just turned off from it. And then up top, I've gone Watkins. Again, he's got a good record and he's solid for the first few game weeks. And then Haaland. I think a lot of people, not seen that many people go the Haaland route, especially captaincy. And with Wolves' bad pre-season, City want to hit the ground running. I think he's gonna get a big score in there. And then on the bench, is kind of a strongest, I'd say medium bench. Nico Williams, in case anyone's misses out, and then the other two are just kind of fodder, really.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So other people saying the audio's fine, but then Lobby, so I think it may be yourself. I mean, my first thought here is not really on your draft. It's the fact you said you were gonna free hit in game week 2 and wild card in game week 3. Is that right?
Yeah, the end of 3, so ready for 4. So during the international break, so I want to attack the first few game weeks.
Right.
And then obviously during the international break, catch a wee bit of value, but then I can reassess, because at the start of the season we've always got preconceptions of last year. Do you know what I mean? Like Everton, defensively they're fantastic. In the first few game weeks they might concede. Do you know what I mean? On both. So you have to reassess, and I think that third game week, I think that'll be enough time to then set my stall out for the next kind of 10 game weeks roughly. That's the idea. I mean, I didn't get a good rank start, obviously.
I've got to say, I'll come to Darius in a sec, but I've got to say, I think you're wasting your wild card and free hit on that strategy, mate. I've got to say that. But Darius, what are your thoughts on the team and on the chip strategy?
See, this is my whole argument why I'm no Haaland and no Salah, because we're looking at a team exactly that's fit one of them in. And guess what the combination is? You've got Haaland and Belieber. Instead, I've got Bruno and Palmer. That's just how I create it. Or it's like, for me, my team, it's Bowen and Vanlinson versus Haaland and Belieber. Like, I just think that those two cover those two much more easily, and I can play either of them, and I've got a strong bench. Van de Ven, obviously, you think that he's going to last more than 6 games in a row before doing his hamstring, so I wish you every success in that strategy. And then if there's a delayed game, and this is what I say about people that have benches that look a lot like yours. I look at Roden, I look at Barnes. Barnes barely played any minutes at all last year for Burnley. So if you get injuries or whatever, you're literally forcing yourself into an early wild card or using transfers for hits. And that's I understand why people don't want to put money in their bench, but if you sit there and there's going to be weeks after Europe where potentially, we might get the odd benching, like Gakpo, Palmer might be benched, don't play at all. And then all of a sudden you've got Roden and Barnes coming on your field. I feel like you're just going to want to be like, oh my God, my team is absolutely a mess. So that's the only thing I'd say about it. Belieber, and as I said, Van de Ven, you're obviously a very optimistic man, but if he gets more than 6 games in a row before pinging his hamstring, I'll send you a free mug.
There's obviously this is just kind of for the first 3 game weeks max, so it is slightly different, but There is a few that can still change before deadline. I think the core of everyone's team is pretty much there, but there is a few we could change. So I had like Rodgers before and a different keeper, but obviously he's looking a bit injured. But you know, I could change a few before that. But the core is going to remain the same. But yeah, like you said, I mean, Rodon's not that bad. He's playing Everton at home, it's not a nice little clean sheet. It's risky though. It is risky, but yeah, you want to have a little bit of money in the bench as well, like you said. Mate. It's good strat.
Greg, any thoughts on Shane's draft?
Well, any good thoughts?
I'm not sure why he's got Kimsky in rather than the one that's come from Newcastle.
Bravka.
Because he's not going to be playing, is he, Kinski? Yeah, Kinski's not going to be playing. At least the other one plays. And I wouldn't bench Williams. I would have played him ahead of Belieber. But when are you wildcarding? Is it game week 3 you're wildcarding?
End of 3, yeah. End of 3.
Oh, end of 3. So that's why you got Fernandez. You want him for the Burnley match.
Yeah. Because I'll captain him.
Yeah, I think the strategy's terrible, but
Me too.
Good luck.
Why do you think? It's good. It's good to hear that though, like the good feedback. So do you think it could just be used in a better placement or further down the season, or
you should hold on to it? I think. But...
Well, I think you're wasting a free hit. It's not so much a wild card. I think the free hit is being wasted. I think game week 4 is probably a good week to wild card, but I don't think you need to start chucking free hits in there.
I think, like you're saying though, I think most people have probably got one Arsenal. If fixtures go certain ways or teams don't look that good, it's just about attacking that game week. So again, for the majority, most stuff is it can change, and probably stuff will change before we get up to the deadline. So, but it's good to hear feedback. You don't want to live in an echo chamber. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I didn't want to bring any good thoughts. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think many people have got Arsenal, to be honest. I don't think you need to worry there. I haven't seen hardly any teams with Arsenal players in.
Okay, guys, let's move on to my team. So, in goal, I've got.
That's to be the review team.
Are you going to acknowledge? Are you going to acknowledge that this is actually an FPL review team? Because I think
I've spent
I've
spent the entire season saying how much I love FPL review. So it's an FPL review inspired team. That's what I'm going to say.
Me and D-Unit have seen this team quite a bit in the last 24 hours since someone put out a tweet with content creators teams all being similar.
My draft was only 2 away from Big Man McCars, so that did scare me a bit. Anyway, let me read through my team, lads, for the audio listeners. So Sanchez in goal, Anderson, Murillo, Virgil van Dijk at the back, Anderson, Fernandez, Palmer, Salah, Wirtz in midfield, Strand Larson and Mateta up front, Bravka, Konza, Esteve, and it's not Gui. I found out this week, Trig. It's Giu or something. You're supposed to pronounce it as I think. But so I really have not thought that much. The reason I was saying, Shane, not that I'm against your strategy, is I listened to Steve-O's Patreon earlier, and he was saying that he's planned 10 weeks into the season. Now I have done that at times in the past, but I just want to go in. I know in my bench boost is going to be in game week 2, and which will be, what a lot of people are planning: the Bravka, Esteve, Giu, and Konza or Anderson. But beyond that, I don't want to overly planned. So, Craig, I'll come to you first for this one, mate. What's your thought on this draft?
Well, my bench is fairly similar, but I've given up any idea of playing bench boost in game week 2 now because why? I don't think. Well, Gui's not even playing this week, so we don't even know if he's going to be fit for next week. It could be the same for the goalkeeper as well. We don't, because he's not playing this week, obviously. So are we going to know if he's fit this week? It seems very risky to play the bench boost. I would have liked to have seen some minutes from Mark Gui in advance, but apart from that, it's a bog standard review team. I could have picked this team in my sleep. I've seen it 100 times. I saw it on Black Box. I saw it with Ben Krellin and Big Man Bakar and somebody else who all have identical teams bar one player. And it's what gets me about it is we'll probably talk about this when we go on to talk about review. But like Mateta on review moved above all the other 7.5s by 1 point over 12 game weeks. 1 point more than anyone else. But everybody put him in as soon as that happened because he's predicted to get 1 more point in 12 weeks. It's absolutely ridiculous. Pick the players you actually want and think again that you like, not the ones that reviews never right at the start of the season. It's rubbish. It never doesn't even kick in and start playing well until about game week 10 because it's going off last year's data, and it's no, it's sad to see. Sad to see. The only thing I will say is that if you do pick Salah, which I have, it is quite hard to find differentials, which is why a lot of us are driven by the DC points, which is also what's driving review. But to have the teams this similar, it's just ridiculous. And it was meant to, the new rules are meant to make everyone's teams different. And I've never seen so many the same.
I've not got
Pedro
Porro. He's the one that reviewed loads of everything. At least I'm honest about, which a lot of content creators aren't, about how I take a lot of tips from there. But Shane, I'll come on to you, mate. I'll reply to one thing you said, Nick. Even if we don't hit the bench boost in game week 2, I think Burnley have got a couple of decent fixtures later on. So it's not putting me off this bench because I think I could do it in like 5 or 6. Shane, what's your thoughts, mate, on my draft?
How the tables have turned, Gary. It's now my chance to look at your squad. No, I think, like you're saying, I've seen it quite a lot about template. I think you can clearly see that the midfield. Listen, the midfield's beast, but there's not enough balance in the side. I mean, to start the season with Strand Larsen and Mateta, I think Mateta's half decent. It's a good preseason, but you can't have them two up top to start the season, and then Anderson in your back line. Anderson's a good player, but Fulham, they didn't really keep that many clean sheets last year. Away from home, there's not really invested. I think that there's too much money in midfield, and it has to be repurposed. The issue you've got is who do you take out from that midfield? You have to. You can't have them all, I suppose. And I think you should take one of them out, downgrade a little bit, because there's always you always want the most expensive midfielders normally, but a lot of the time in every game week, there's always some mid or low price that overscores them. So I think there's too much going on in midfield. Apart from that, it's like bench and that is everything set up. I just think, I think to open it with Anderson, Strand Larsen, and Mateta. I mean, do you think Strand Larsen is going to get any returns against City?
Probably not. I think he's. I'm just going to read out a comment from the chat. Gino says, "I almost had the exact same team as FPL before it was online, and now my review team is template. 8 or 9 of these players were in my team before FPL review came out. And Trig, you can attest to that because you've been put in there. So yes, it is. Some of it is shaped by review, but a lot of it isn't. A lot of it was already my team. But I do. In response, I do worry about having a lack of money up front, because I don't know what I'm going to do if, for example, Gyökeres or someone goes off. I've got to make some serious alterations there. But
and that's the thing. Yeah, you kind of putting yourself in a position. You're not booking transfers in essentially, but have you got any money in the bank?
No, I don't think so.
Not that much anyway. I mean, 0.5 is good to have, but you kind of put yourself in a situation because you know what's going to happen. Like you're saying, Darius, the United Arsenal game is going to go off, and you'll be like, oh, do you know what? And I want him, and it's hard to pivot unless you take out, like a Fernandes or a Salah. But then if Salah does all right, Fernandes does all right, Palmer does all right, you know what you're going to do? Is that going to outscore the rest of your team? And I think if you're going for a bit of defensive contributions, I think it's too tough. I think you need some more money, especially up top.
Yeah. Yellen is saying Strand Larsen scored against City last season, and Andrew's saying these streams are just 5 hours a week of Gary trying to justify being a cheat. Darius, let me come to you, mate, for the interest of time. Any thoughts on this one before we move on to your draft, so we can rip that apart instead?
That's all right. There's nothing to rip apart in my draft because it's a good draft. But let's get into it. Sanchez in goal. I don't think Chelsea are going to keep as many clean sheets as people think, especially with their centre defence literally falling apart, and Cole was a large part behind their good defensive data. Anderson, tell me why he is a good pick, chat. Honestly, Fulham, check the clean sheets last year. No attacking returns. He literally got 70, 80 points in 30 games. I don't want to savage it too much, but I'll spell it out for you. He is SHIT player. No good. Absolutely no good. Murillo, tick. I'll tick Murillo. I think he'll actually be a really good asset. Virgil van Dijk. Why on earth would you pick Virgil van Dijk after what we've seen in Liverpool's preseason? They can't keep clean sheets. If you want a Liverpool attacker, get someone that's going to get attacking returns, not someone that sits there, turned like Harry Maguire in his pomp for Man United in the box and gave away a penalty. No good. Then we get into the other Anderson. And honestly, the other Anderson, the biggest overhyped piece of rubbish midfielder. Why on earth would you want someone that's only get 4 points max per week? Have the ceiling. That dude should be in 9th or 8th attacker at best, sitting on the bench every week. He shouldn't be starting in anyone's teams because he's going to be rubbish. Bruno Fernandes, I like the Bruno Fernandes pick. He's one of the 4 that I like. There's so many avenues to points. He's great. Cole Palmer, ditto. I don't mind that one. Mo Salah, dying off a cliff this season. No good. He's not one of the 4. Wirtz, he's one of the 4. He's good. I think he'll be great. Mateta, I don't mind, but it wouldn't be in my team. Strand Larson, 6.5 million. He's probably the best 6.5 million forward in the game. And then the bench, I can't wait till Gary bench boosts in game week 2 so we can absolutely tear him apart in the game week 3 preview stream. I need to be on that one because when Dubravka doesn't sit there and keep a clean sheet, and Esteve and Mark Gehi, and they probably combine for like maybe Dubravka and Mark Gehi might not even play. They might not even be match fit yet because that's why they're yellow flagged at the moment. And then Gary's sitting there with a bench that just looks like an absolute steaming pile of reviewed turd. And we all sit there and go, AI has lost the plot. Review, why are you paying 50 quid a month for it? Instead, why don't you come and give the D-Unit a couple of channel memberships? He'll tell you some facts that AI can't spit out. How good's that?
Yeah, I'm glad you held back, Darius. I'm glad you held back, mate. It was a good effort.
Shameless promotion. Right. Note to self, D-Unit is not appearing in the Game Week 3 preview. Right. Let's get on to Darius' squad. So I'll read it out and then we'll let you defend your choices, Darius. So Sells in goals. Yoff, is that how I pronounce that name? Milenkovic and say it for me, Shane. Copier.
Oh,
Tekoipa in defence. One thing I've learned creating content, you have to learn so many names to pronounce them. Saka, Palmer, Wirtz, Reinders, Bruno Fernandes in midfield, Watkins and Bayern up front. On the bench, Dubravka, Evan Nilsson, who, to be fair, it was almost very nearly was in my draft. Dorgu and Guehi. Darius, talk us through your thinking on these picks, mate.
If you want to win FPL, pick a team like this.
That's simple, isn't it?
Actually, the only pick all right, so I'll talk to the chat because the chat probably going to sit there and have a couple of
confidence in himself. Oh dear.
But I was sitting there, so like I was someone last year that I was championing the Haaland and Salah draft at the beginning of last year. It made a lot of sense, and I thought they were both going to start with a bang, and they both did start with a bang. This year, I've looked at it, and I don't think either of them are starting with a bang, if I'm being brutally honest. The only one that I think of the two that potentially could is Haaland, and I have looked at Haaland drafts, but when you sit there and look at that 11 that I've got there, you can see every one of them returning. You can see ceiling scores for every single one of those players. I'm not sitting there with bloody Andersons in my team hoping that I get 4 points every week. I'm sitting there with the likes of Milenkovic who can get a clean sheet, defensive contribution, a goal. He could get a 19-pointer. Are any Andersons going to do that? Jog on. I'm not counting contributions and stuff like this. I want the goals, I want the assists, and I want it now. So, like, when I look at that midfield 5, Saka, Palmer, Wirtz, Reindeers, he's pulling the D-Unit sleigh, I'm telling you. Bruno Fernandes, all of them are capable of being captains on any given week. If I really wanted a captain, I've got all those options. Then I look up front, I've got Watkins. I've got Jared Bowen, the talismanic captain, and so many people are overlooking him. Jared Bowen's returns for the last however long at West Ham have been so consistent. The dude averages over 20 attacking turns a season. It's very hard to find that in any forward player, and he's guaranteed pretty much to do it. And he literally plays 90 minutes. And I've tried to offset the risk of European football by having 90-minute men at people that aren't in Europe. So that's also got to come into consideration because I'm telling you, the big squads this year, the Chelseas, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, they've all got squads where they can literally have 2 players that are good players in every position. I don't want to be running around worrying about whether my players are going to be starting. And when the European games come in and they start coming in, I'll be actually targeting players that aren't in Europe, because I think this season we're going to see the biggest lot of rotation we've ever seen in our lives. And then look at the bench. Gary wants to play a bench boost game week 2 with Mark Geehy, Esteve, what's his name in goal, Dubravka, and I can't remember the other bloke because he was that bad, Konza. I could literally play bench boost on any single week and it'll be a good week. There'll be someone on the bench with the bench I've put together that will return probably 10 points by themselves. So again, I just think that not building a Salah or a Haaland draft just makes so much sense this year, especially with all the other good options and how good the pricing is. What you can build without them in your teams is unbelievably incredible. The only player I want to know, and I'll ask the chat this because I'm trying to work it out in my own team. So you would have seen, if anyone that's probably in there has probably watched my video yesterday anyway, but I had Strand Larsen instead of Evanlinson, and then I had Collins instead of Gahey. I don't know if that's a better combination than what I've got now, or if I just drop someone to find that extra 0.5 so I can have Collins, because I think that Collins and Milenkovic will be 2 of the best. I think they'll both be in the top 10 for scoring defenders this year. I think they're such a good price point. So, yeah, that's the team. I'm excited. Roll on Friday.
Right, I'm coming in with this one first. Where on earth is money in the defence? Like, if you want to upgrade, you've got like your top player in there. It's 5.5 million. I do love the midfield. Apart from Reinders, have you literally just put him in there because he scored the 2 goals at the weekend?
No, I actually had him. I actually had him in the first differentials video I did 2 weeks ago. I actually thought he was great. I did the stats digging before anyone had even mentioned him. And then when he scored twice in the 45 minutes, I was not surprised. I was like, this is annoying because so many more people are going to have him in their teams. Instead of me, who's sitting there getting ahead of the curve, he sort of announced himself too early.
I heard he was playing as a number 10, which obviously would give him more opportunity than we'd expect him to. And I think he's a rotation risk. But I have to be honest, I do like it. Shane, what are your thoughts on Darius's draft?
It's good. It shows you what you can get without Salah and Haaland. Like you're saying, where does that point become? It's too expensive to get them, or you're not getting enough return for your money. But I like it. And that, you know what, this team worries me in terms of it looks good. And it looks good not even for the first game week, but like the second, the third, especially his bench.
You won't have to wild card and free.
Well, that's the thing. I think you know when you got a 7 million forward on your bench, obviously because they've got Wolves. I think Wilson's game week 2, right? That's why you've got him on there. Is that Wolves game week 2? So yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm not sure about the Dorgu pick, but you know, United fan, you got to have someone in there. But no, it's good and it's attacking, and I think the vital thing as well. You can have 6 million midfielders, you know, maybe not Van Dijk, but, you know, Frimpong starts playing. Obviously, you got the most expensive you got there, 5.5 Milenkovic, but the De Kuyper that I've got and the Diouf against Sunderland, you don't need to spend a lot of money in the back line. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to have that premium price, especially you have to have the clean sheets with it for the 6 mil. If not, it's not really worth it. So, and he's right, you know, if Salah and Haaland, or say they both blank on a week, the ranks going up. I think, yeah, people are underestimating Bowen. The captaincy's a shout as well because you know he's going to be involved against the Sunderland, who, by the way, just now, they're getting a bit battered in pre-season. So it makes me think, maybe I need to look at my squad, which is good for you, Darius. I mean, I think it's really good squad. Really good squad. I'm a bit worried, actually. Might have to reconsider.
Nick, your thoughts?
Very good team. Yeah, very, very good team indeed. I wouldn't be comfortable captaining Bowen in game week 1, which is why I've got Salah. But I don't think Salah's worth it either. But I've got him simply because of that game week 1 fixture. If it wasn't Bournemouth at home, I'd have a team like this myself. But it's the captaincy in game week 1 that scares me the most. So, and if you do get Salah, like we've all got Salah apart from Darius, if you have Salah, you don't have to keep him. Like if he's bad against Bournemouth, I might well change into Saka for game week 2. Obviously, the rest of my team's not going to look quite as good as Darius is, but it'll only take a week or 2 to catch up. But I mean, if Salah does go off and blowing blanks, then the rest of the players aren't going to matter too much because the captaincy is so important But I like all the players he's picked. I can't complain about any of the players, except Reinders I'm not as keen on as other people. I mean, he only came on in the second half. He played in the same position as Cherky, who'd been absolutely fantastic in the first half. And I think that first half team looked like it was kind of the team that was lined up to play this week. So whether he'll change it or not and put Reinders in, we don't know. I mean, they were down to 10 men, weren't they, the opponents? It was a pretty meaningless sort of second half.
I actually think the City team in the second half was more likely to be their Game Week 1 team than the first half. Just judging from some of the players that came on in the second half, it was more a team I expect City to roll with in Game Week 1.
Didn't they sub 10 players at half time?
Yeah, the only one that stayed on was Haaland, which makes me think that they just wanted the chemistry with Haaland in the second half with the other players.
Yeah. Okay, all right, let's move on to Trigger's Solio team.
It is not a Solio team.
Let me read. I've got to get my own back, mate. All right, let me read it out, and then you can talk us through it, Trig. Sells in goal, Van der Ven, Murillo, and Anderson at the back. Palmer, Wirtz, Fernandes, Salah, and Anderson. The identical midfield to mine, ladies and gentlemen. Solanke and João Pedro up front. Dubravka, Gay, or Gui, however you want to pronounce his name. And how do you pronounce the Wolves defender? Agbadu in defence. Talk us through it, Trig.
Well, where shall I start? Well, the midfield five, I mean, I've had them for weeks.
No, you
long
haven't.
Before
you
came out. Yes, I have. I had Anderson when the game opened.
Didn't have it last week.
Because of defensive contributions.
All right, so I'll shut up.
And that midfield, the only one I'm considering changing is Fernandes, actually, because I do worry I haven't got enough money spread. But let's look at the strikers first. So I've got João Pedro and Solanke, because there's the Magnificent Seven this year. The Magnificent Seven. 7 players priced at 7.5 or 7, who are absolutely fantastic. We got the likes of Visser, Mateta, the new Man United striker. There's a lot of them you can tap into at 7.5 million. And I don't think you're ever going to need to go above that price point in attack, because you can cover Gorkiez with Saka if you need to. And so Solanke, we'll see how he gets on tonight. I'm hoping he plays about 60 minutes, looks okay, comes off and is rested a bit for the Burnley match. Then I'll be sticking with him. Otherwise, I might have to have a rethink. The other option up top is to switch to Strand Larsen and Watkins, which a lot of people have done. Defensively, I've got a lot less in defence than most people. I want defensive contributions, but I want them at a cheaper price. I don't think just because last year's ones, all 5.5 million, like Shane said, aren't necessarily going to be the same ones for the top this season. Are going to be great 4.5 defenders that this season are good for defensive contributions. I want this year's Tarkowski, not last year's. So I've got Anderson in for defensive contributions, and he has got some attacking threat, which Darius doesn't seem to realise. Van der Ven works very well with Agbadu. They are a really good rotation. Like next week, they'll swap around. Van der Ven will be on the bench. You know, he's $1 million cheaper than Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro, last season, they had the most attacking manager in the league, and he hardly got any attacking returns. He only ended up on about 50 points or something. So Pedro Porro doesn't really interest me. But 4.5 for Van der Ven, it doesn't do me much harm. I mean, Darius will say I get injured and my defensive rotation will fall apart after 2 weeks. I've got Mark Gui on the bench. Mark Guy from Palace, in case he goes to Liverpool, where I think he would be first choice. Ask the chat if they think he'd be nailed on at Liverpool, because if he's not, I might change him to Richards, because Richards is another one. 4.5 million is going to get untold amounts of defensive points. Now, goalkeepers, I've taken out Sanchez because you never know. Donnarumma could be the missing piece in the Chelsea puzzle. They're world champions at the moment, but they're not yet the world's best team. But with Donnarumma, Chelsea would be winning the league this season. So they've got to go and buy him, put Sanchez on the bench, and João Pedro's in there because I support Chelsea, basically. And I cannot enjoy watching Chelsea. I can't enjoy watching Chelsea when fantasy assets are scoring that I don't own. So that's why he's on the team.
Trig.
Because, and this isn't a review team. The only person I was influenced, the only person that influenced me was Anderson in defence. I thought, why is Anderson so far ahead on review and so? I thought, have they got it wrong or have I got it wrong? And I thought, well, I don't want to take the chance. So I put him in anyway. If he fails, he fails. But he's the only pick inspired by review and Solio. Right, over to you, Gary.
Trig, well, the reason I was trying to cut in is it's been the team is out and Solanke's on the bench. Richarlison starts. So does that affect anything?
That could be good. If Solanke comes on after 60 minutes, has a good half an hour, he's being saved up for Burnley. That is actually ideal. If he doesn't come on, or he comes on for 5 minutes, then I won't go with Solanke. But if he gets half an hour and he looks decent, I think I will keep him, because Solanke in that team could be absolutely fantastic, because they've got no other. He's not going to be playing as a defensive midfielder under this new manager, and this manager is good with his strikers. So I'll probably stay with it. I want someone a bit different. I can't be doing with Mateta when Palace are all in a sulk because they've missed out on their European competition, and Ezra's leaving and other players are leaving. So, yeah, I'll be sticking with this, I think.
Okay, I'll make.
Like I said, I'm a bit worried about what Shane said about midfield causing problems elsewhere, because I could have such a good defence if I took Fernandes out and downgraded him. But there's nobody I like in midfield. I don't like Reinders. I think he's no good. And there's nobody else. I don't like that little Everton prick getting die. I don't want him. And so there's no one really interesting me lower down. So Fernandes has got roots to points everywhere, hasn't he? So, and Burnley in game week 3. So over to you, Gary.
Great. Right. Well, I'm just going to make one point. I love this because even if it's not inspired by the machines, it's very similar. So Sells and Sanchez were on exactly the same points for goal. Murillo and Anderson were in my team. Your midfield was in my team. Van de Ven is very high on review, and your forwards could also have been picked for review because my forwards are not actually the ideal for review. And your bench is basically a review team as well. So I love it. But I'm going to come to Darius. I'm going to come to Darius and let him give his thoughts.
I just got a quick question, Nick. Are you still doing bench boost early season?
No, I've given up on the bench boost. I just play it when available, basically. Okay. When the keepers are fit and everybody, when it all lines up, I play it whenever.
Brilliant.
I just don't think it's that good a chip where I need to get stressed about it. Do you know what I mean? I just play it on a random week sometime.
Yep. All right. The bullets are currently loading. And I'm telling you, Trig, all season, Trig was sitting there and he went into his Mountainscape. He did his Nick Triglicks video on the looking for clues. And Muffin was pretty adamant that the one player that was no good was Mo Salah. But Nick seems to have sat there and looked at review for too long. He's looked at Solio for too long, and he's decided to bottle it rather than rely on the parrot. Well, I think the parrot is actually probably online with the card. They probably need to be followed because their advice is better than the AI that doesn't know what it's talking about. But let's get into the team. So Sells, I don't mind Sells. I've obviously got him in my own team. And Murillo, I've talked about him. I think he'll be good. I think you could split the difference between Murillo and Milinkovic, but I still think Milinkovic is better from an attacking sense. Then we just get into the other lot that you've recruited here. And let's be honest, Van de Ven, I'm telling you, the amount of people that keep picking that man, I would not be shocked. I hope that he doesn't do his hamstring tonight, just so we can have the pleasure of him doing it in the first 3 game weeks, and all you fools that have him in their teams can sit there and be like, oh, well, that was a transfer D and it told me I should have done before the season. Now I'm going to have to waste one on getting rid of him. Then we get Anderson, and I talked about the Fulham clean sheets before. Nick, you saw the stats. I put them there for you, and yet you still think that Solio's got it right. Fulham don't keep clean sheets. And someone said to me as well, and I've had a few comments on my things, all these people raving on about how good Anderson and that are going to be for defensive contributions. This implies that you are holding them for the whole season. If you're not holding them for the whole season, and you're going to get other players, why would you go for players with such a low ceiling? Like, you literally just, if you're playing them, you're not expecting more than 4 points, if that. And realistically, Anderson's good for a yellow card as well. So in reality, and they're probably going to concede more than one goal in quite a few games. In reality, it's going to be 2 points anyway. There's so many better options. Then we get into the midfield, and Anderson, again, there's no attacking potential there at all. And again, unfortunately, with the way you've constructed this draft, with the use of AI and that, it's left your bench absolutely rubbish. So you're going to be playing Anderson every week, whereas I'm going to be playing the rotating of Valenson and Reindeers every week. I tell you which two players I'd rather be playing than Anderson every week. Then we got Salah. And as you said before, you could disperse the funds so much more. And I feel like your team needs it. Your forward line is relying on Dominic Solanke, who has barely featured, is luckily enough made the bench tonight. He might do you a favour and come on and get injured, so that way you can take him out prior to game week 1. And then you should know better than anyone, being a Chelsea fan, that João Pedro is not playing more than 60 minutes a week. Fact. He's either subbed off on 57, 58 minutes, or he's getting subbed on the 60th minute. So you're relying on him scoring a goal in the shortest that he's on the field, rather than going for someone that is highly likely going to play 90 minutes. And we talked about Jared Bold and why he's getting overlooked. The dude plays 90 minutes. If you're playing 90 minutes, you're a hell of a lot more likely to get a return than someone that sits there and comes off the bench for 30 or starts for 57. And then again, your bench, if you've got an injury or whatever, are you going to be happy having Gahey or Mark Gui or Agbadu coming on? Because if you aren't, that's where you probably need to look.
West Ham was Chelsea will score more than twice as many goals as West Ham this season. So he will effectively be on the pitch when more goals are scored than Bowen will be.
Shane.
That's a bold call.
Shane.
That's cut you off.
I think
Say after that, the rest of the team is like, yeah, Anderson's rubbish. I'm taking him out now.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like yours, Gary. I think maybe the DC's gone a little bit to people's heads, and I've not read the DC thing, and obviously it's high on the AI of Fulham. I can't believe people are going to Fulham defenders. It's insane. Honestly, I don't know. I know the AI says that the models, I don't see when they're going to keep a clean sheet. I don't. So for me, I think you have to change him. He has to be changed. I mean, again, these defensive contribution, right? You get an extra 2 points. Say he does, all right, he gets 10 headers away, but they get battered in the first 3 game weeks. It's going to be less productive than someone who just tipped up and got 2 points. You know what I mean? And one clean sheet in that. So I think Anderson needs to come out. The rest of the back line's all right, although I have just seen that Van de Ven's playing as left back tonight. So one, he's going to get ripped apart. He'll probably do his hamstring actually against PSG. So that's worrying me, even though I've got him in my team now. So I do need to reconsider that. Midfield's class, but I think, again, it's like yours, Gary. We're focused on the perfect 5 in midfield, and it's affecting more the top end for you, Nick. It is
I
good
agree
midfield.
with you. I agree with you, Shane. I'm very tempted to take out Fernandes, but he's so good. That's the problem. But he's got Arsenal. He hasn't got.
Yeah, I think he's got Burnley. He's got Burnley. Like you were saying, the big thing is, Nick, you were saying there's no one around that price point that you want in midfield for that money. But once FPL starts, there will be people who come in. You'll be like, oh yeah, we'll look at this guy now. So there will be alternatives coming up. And then the top line, go on.
I agree with D-Unit. Salah's a problem. But, I mean, it's for fixture for game week 1. But I'm not going to have Salah all season, I'm pretty sure of it. And it's not going to take much for me to become a non-Salah. The good thing is, right, if you're a Salah team, it's very easy to become a non-Salah team. It's just a couple of transfers. But if you're a non-Salah team, Salah gets a hat-trick in game week 1. Your captain's fail and everything. It's not easy to become a Salah team when you're a non-Salah team. So it's easier to start with him. It's easier to start with him.
It is easier to pivot, but you don't think people are focused on, he's not blanked in the first 5 game weeks. But if you go back and have a look, all right, one, I think he scored a hat trick, but the other 2 have been like an assist, like 6 points, 7 points. All right, it's still good, but there's other players that might do better in the opening game week. But up top, yeah, I think Solanke not even starting tonight. I had him last season. He's just he's a bit like Van de Ven. He's an injury waiting to happen. João Pedro, I like that, but yeah. And then if you look at the bench is you're going to get yourself into a little bit of trouble, I think. So I think you have to make that awkward decision to take somebody out in midfield of who you think is going to score less. And then, because I mean, you could go Salah to. It's not a good downgrade.
Like you said, though, I don't have to do it now, do I? I can wait a week or two.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be someone who's coming out. Yeah, and then you'll be like, I want him. I'd even be if you want to keep that, I'd even. If you just take Salah out for the Liverpool cover, have Gakpo or even Ekitike for the first week. I'd rather have Ekitike than Solanke for the first game week, 100%. So
yeah, I can't afford him. If I would too. If I had an extra million, I'd have him in.
Yeah,
but I don't want to get him because if Isaac turns up, he's suddenly a problem as well. That's the issue with him.
Yeah, I mean, even the short term, but yeah, I think midfield, like Darius is saying, I think. Yeah, you have to. Anderson's fine, but again, I don't get the defensive contributions. I think people are just.
Anderson is on quite a lot of set pieces, and he's going to provide quite a few assists this season.
Yeah, so yeah, and you'll probably keep him all season.
Clean sheet points.
He's a good keep, but the other Anderson, I was thinking like a Matrix joke because of the two Mr. Andersons, but get rid of one of them. Yeah, but apart from all that and what Darius said, it was all right, mate. It's not bad.
I think Anderson in midfield is going to outscore the likes of Reinders quite comfortably.
That's what I was going to say. Can we put that in the chat? Gary, can you put a poll in the chat? Who's going to outscore out of Reindeers and Anderson? I'm just intrigued to know what people think in the chat. Who scores more? The defensive monster getting Nick 3 points a week, or Reindeers when he scores 2 goals in a game and gets you 15 every 5 or 6 weeks or whatever?
Reindeers or Anderson?
It's that thinking ahead, Nick, isn't it? Like, who do you think is maybe going to look good? Because you got game week 2 and game week 3, so maybe identifying someone in those 2 game weeks, that's a bit underrated. But the core is good. It's just, again, it's like in everyone's team. Before we get to deadline, you'll have 2, 3, maybe 4 players that will change.
Everyone's too focused on the initial team, I think, because we've got lots of transfers, we've got wild cards. I just want to go in with a reasonably safe team for the first few weeks. And then see what happens. If Salah does turn out to be rubbish, I'll be one of the first to get rid of him. But, I don't want to take that chance when they're playing a Bournemouth team that's got no defenders. I mean, they signed one for 30 million today, but I don't think he's going to be ready to start at the weekend, is he? So in 3 or 4 weeks, they might be good. But at the moment, they're there for the taking. And Salah's... You look at the captain polls and Salah is so far ahead. And I've learned from experience that it's very risky to take them on when that's the case. So
Bournemouth's a hard place to go.
Just go with him.
Like, it's a hard place, a hard team to come over, I know they're away, so if they were home, it'd be a little bit different. But, even if you went to Gakpo, you still got a bit of cover there. I know it's not Salah, I get it. But, how much difference do you think? Say they win 3-0, right? If you look back at the last kind of maybe the last quarter of the season, Salah, it's not like every goal or every assist is Salah. You know what I mean? It's Gakpo, it's Diaz, it'll be Wirtz, it'll be Ekitike. So if you had Gakpo, say Gakpo gets 6 points at the weekend and Salah gets 11, relatively, if you've got a better striker up front, is that more worth it? It's tough.
That's 22 points as your captain for Salah.
But then if you say instead of Solanke, you have, I don't know, Haaland, and he goes off and gets 2 goals and assist, or Bowen gets 2 goals and assist or something, it's those player combinations.
I don't like Haaland teams because he's too similar in price to Salah. And if you get Haaland, it doesn't improve the rest of your team anyway. So you end up with still got a rubbish team like I have, except you've got Haaland instead of Salah. And
you could get Bowen. Darius will be saying you could get Bowen if you go to Haaland.
I could get Bowen and Watkins.
You get Bowen.
Right, lads.
I do like Darius's team the best, but it's just the captaincy.
Lads, we want to be finished by 8 because Elite FPL are coming on, right? I'm going to skip.
I want to watch the football.
I'm going to skip the debate we were going to have because I think we've already made our points on review and not review quite clear. we're going to do a Q&A. Can you let three lads all go to like 5 to 8?
Yeah, but I can go to 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to ask you. Please get your questions
If
in.
there's no questions, maybe we could have that debate.
Well, we can do.
Anyway.
Yeah. But I'm going to come onto one debate, which I'm quite interested. So I'm going to close this poll in a minute. So if you want to get your poll in for Reindeers or Anderson, please do. Please get your questions in the chat. I'm going to move on to this particular, very specialist debate that Darius wanted me to include. And then we will get to your questions. So please put your questions in while we are discussing this. So here is the debate, which is basically my all-time favorite wrestler, The Undertaker, there, rising from the dead. And I've got to be honest, Darius, you're not the only person I've heard say this. A lot of people were complaining when the chips came out about the assistant manager, the ass man, being cancelled. Give us, and you won him back. Take it away, mate. Take it away.
I just wish, and I hate to say it, but the one change that Mark could have just sat there and not bowed to the pressure of his boys. We all know the reason why the assistant managership got abolished. Let's Talk FPL didn't like it. Harry didn't like it. They all didn't like it. So guess what happened? They put the pressure on Mark saying this needs to be removed, mate. Get it out. You want to know the reason why they wanted to get rid of it? Because they are all risk-averse managers. The reason why they're risk-averse, ladies and gentlemen, is because they use FPL Review as their FPL Bible. And the Bible had no verses in it to tell them about how to use the assistant manager chip. So what did they think? They thought, we'll pick it, the best team in the league, which is why they recommended Arnie Slot, which is why in that third sequence of events, some of them were recommending Mikel Arteta. And guess what happened when you went to Mikel Arteta? He got done 1-0 by my boy, Jared Bowen and West Ham, believe it or not. So the reason why this chip was so brilliant is because it actually really invested you in a team. And I understand that FPL is about picking players or whatever, but there's something about picking a team and just writing it. I remember when I looked at the chip and I was like going, table bonus is king. Like it was the most obvious thing on the planet. And it was just a matter of picking the right teams in the right game weeks to get the maximum amount of points. And anyone with a football brain that actually watches the football would have been able to tell you that Everton were never losing against Liverpool in that Anfield game. And when Tarkowski scored that 94th minute goal, and all my believers in my chat and whatever that literally rode the David Moyes bandwagon, we all rose as one as the cartel came crashing down to earth that Slot actually wasn't as good as David Moyes. Then we got week 2, and we went into week 2, and the cartel was still firmly on Arnie Slot being the best manager. But then we had the D-Unit crew, and we were all Team Emery. Yes, he let us down with the draw against Ipswich, but then when it came to Liverpool, the man showed up. Aston Villa game crasher party. They're unlucky not to win the game. How funny would that have been when Arnie Slot would have walked away with just 2 points from that game? That would have been class. And then obviously went on to game week 3. And then Raptor, he must have been watching a couple of the D-Unit videos and thought, this guy might be onto something. I need to stop playing conservatively, and I need to sit there and get on the D-Unit hype wagon. And he didn't want to give credit, but I reckon he watched the video. And he was like going, that's it, Oliver Glasner. He's got a really good record. They play really good away from home. He goes all in on the D-Unit bandwagon, whilst Andy is still peddling Arteta in the background. And then guess what? What happens? Arnie Slot sucked. He got the win, but it didn't matter. But the real points were on Oliver Glasner when he scored a massive 20-pointer. That is why the assistant manager chip was so good. Now they've robbed us. Instead, what they've done, Mark, you can't come up with a good chip. You've got FPL Challenge. You could have come up with so many other ideas. You could have adjusted the assistant manager so it was just a 1-week chip. I still would have been happy with that. But instead, you give us the same old 4 boring chips times 2. Honestly, poor effort.
Right, lads, I'll just say I'm going to open a new poll. Should we get rid of the assistant manager chip? The Reinders Anderson was 64% for Reinders, however you want to say it. 34%.
Easy.
You were biasing the poll there a little bit, Darius, in the chat.
Chat you.
Shane, I'll come to you first. What's your opinions on resurrecting the Ass Man?
I think, Darius, I think you're right, mate. I think you're right.
Oh,
and do you know what? The cartel know it. I think they know it. I think it was something that definitely went against them, and they probably put a bit of pressure and said, "Oh, do you know what? You need to take that out a little bit," because the majority play safe. The majority do play safe, and that wasn't a chip that helped them at all, and it made them look like fools. Not fools, but I think they probably took it out for that reason. And there's always a degree of the big content creators having a bit of a say, but yeah, I think you're quite right. Although I didn't really like it. I was probably one of those fools that went slot, so it didn't really work out for me. So yeah, I would have liked it to stay in. It brings a different dynamic to the game. You know?
Nick, what's your thoughts, mate?
Awful chip. But these defensive contributions brought in just to help review. I'm sure of it. And Darius is probably right. That's the reason they took out the other thing. They should have done what they did in the Club World Cup of rewarding 2 extra points for picking differentials. Then we wouldn't all have the same review team if they'd done that. So it's absolutely but just like Mark's just played into the hands of his mates, basically. That's all I think. And
lads, sorry, I just to interject there. I've got to go. Got the kids and that to get ready for bed and
no worries, mate. No worries.
Thanks very much for getting us on.
Do you want to give a quick plug to the double pivot? Where you go? Yeah.
Follow over on YouTube and X, obviously _ the double pivot. Some walking videos in there. I think Nick had a wee look at that. It was a runner video where I slipped near the end, so that was good. And just like yourselves, we have some good videos, good live as well. D-Unit's going to join me on Friday as well, so we're going to have an early deadline stream as well. I might have fixed my team by then, Darius, which is good. So we'll see how that plays out. And just have a look at the content, follow and engagement. That's really the biggest thing. It's enjoyment, and that's what I like doing. Speaking to everyone in the community. And get my team ripped apart. So thanks very much for getting us on, guys.
It's been a pleasure, mate. And I've tagged the Double Pivot podcast in the title of the video, so you can find the Double Pivot podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, Shane.
Cheers, guys.
See you later. Right, so I'm going to give my opinion on this. I completely agree with Nick. This assistant managership is not FPL. It's not FPL, Darius. It's picking teams. It's much more related to betting. I didn't like the fact it replicated that. It wasn't a game. It wasn't the same game. It was a completely different game, and I'm completely glad they ripped it out. So
I think it would have been better if we'd had a manager for the entire season that we could have each week.
That would have been great.
That would have been good.
Darius, do you want to respond to our critiques of your position?
Yeah, look, I understand that people kind of think it was overpowered, but I think that's just because you looked at the chip wrong. Like a lot of people looked at it the same way. As I said, the cartel were peddling it. Risk averse, pick the managers that are part of the good teams. The chip was not designed for that. It was designed to be fun. And I tell you, that was the most fun I had in FPL all season. I backed 3 underdogs and 3 underdogs produced. Like, it was just unbelievable. I think if you played it in the right way, I think that determines how you enjoyed the chip. If you'd sat there and got 56 points like I did, you'd think, oh my God, bring that back.
That's outcome bias, though, Darius. It's massive outcome bias.
I still wouldn't have cared. I would have still enjoyed it either or. I mean, my triple captain got me 2 points last year and my bench boost got me 6. My system manager chip was just brilliant. It's like it was just based on football knowledge. Whereas the other ones were as well, but they just didn't work out. So I just think it was fun. I enjoyed the 3-week, let's pick a team and go with it. And I used to transfer every week on my assistant manager. Like, I literally attacked it. It was designed to be aggressive, to have fun. And I feel like for the majority of people that actually looked into how it should be played and how you could maximize it, it was exactly what it was on the tin. A great, fun chip to play. Regardless, there was people in my chat last year that played it game weeks 31 to 33, and they played it on Palace when they had the City and Newcastle, and they got 2 points. Like it just depended on which week you played it, but they still had fun playing it, even though they got 2 points, whereas I got 20. So I just think that it was just fun. And this year they've taken the fun out of it a bit by just giving us DC points. Like they're trying to make us count bloody clearances, as Nick said before, and tackles and blocks.
Yeah.
And I still want to know what a clearance is going to be. If someone accidentally miskicks it, are they going to count that as a clearance, as a missed pass? There's so much ambiguity. And who the hell enjoys watching a game of football going, that was one? Was that two? Like, what's the fun in that?
Right, I'm going to close the Assman poll. It is so tight, lads. It's gone from 50, 49. I'm going to close it in 1 minute. No, I do get your point. I mean, I'm not going to say that it was the changes they've made have necessarily been better. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're not going to bring it back now. There's no mystery chip for this season, is there? So they couldn't bring it back. Is that right?
Yeah, there's no chance
mystery
it comes
chip.
back.
Is there not a mystery chip?
I don't think so.
No.
There was a lot of like debate that there might have been.
I thought they were going to have something for when the new AI came in January.
You said that, but I never heard that anywhere else apart from you saying it, Trig. Right, I'm ending the poll because it's going in my favour. 52% no. Maybe I pressed the wrong button. It's not giving me the results, but it was 52% no, 48% yes. So, to be honest with you, that's
very close.
Despite Darius's very... Oh, there it is. 52% no, 47% yes. That makes no sense. But, yeah, despite your very eloquent arguing for it, it didn't come out. All right, okay. Let's get on to some questions. So I'm going to scroll up now and try and find questions without crashing the chat.
Get your questions in, folks. Just whack them in the chat. Keep them coming.
Whack them in the chat. We'll go for about another 15 minutes, I think, lads. So,
what's your prediction for tonight, Darius? I'm going to say 2-1 to Tottenham.
Trig, I believe there's a knocking on your window outside. I believe it's Muffin the parrot. He's come to squawk some sense into you, I reckon.
Right, first question is from Hippie, I believe. How can anyone watch football when Elite FPL is streaming at 8:00? Lads?
The only reason why you'd watch football at 8:00 is just to see how many goals get pumped through that Tottenham defence. Nick reckons 2-1. I reckon PSG are going to spank them like 5-0 minimum.
I think I'll have the sound down on the football and tune in to Steve-O at the same time.
Yep, I will be doing exactly the same, Trigger. Please do like the video, by the way, if you are enjoying it. Napster, who's a channel member, says views on Minter if Robinson is out injured for Fulham game week 1.
Good shout.
Oh, is Robinson potentially injured? Is he?
I think Claire put that in the chat earlier.
Minter.
He hasn't played pre-season.
Oh, yeah, because he's on the same wing, I guess, isn't he? Yeah, it's a bit of a go for it. I shouldn't try and put people off trying to pick differentials, should I? It's like
you love differentials.
Complain that everyone's got the same team and then put people off differentials isn't really right, is it? So yeah, go for it.
Diouf versus Wan-Bissaka, says Yakino. Darius?
Juve, he's attacking potential even in pre-season is so much streets ahead of Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka might get you the DC points, but I reckon Juve is going to be probably one of those 4.5 million defenders that gets above 5 by the end of the season.
Trig, what do you reckon, mate?
He'll be held back by no DC points, and Wan-Bissaka will end up better because of it, probably. But I don't think Wan-Bissaka is going to get many DC points, though. There's probably only
his average per 9 is not the best.
No, and there'd have been the hard games when you would have benched him anyway. So that's why I don't like players like Wan-Bissaka. If I'm going to go defensive contributions, I want to go all in, like someone like Anderson of Fulham, all in on them.
Harry Dawson is asking, please do get your questions in, by the way, for
Manchester United.
I've not read the question out yet, Darius. Team outside the top 6 who may break into the top 4 this season. May Palace be a punt? Well, I think they've probably got a better chance than Man United. I'm joking.
The other thing with Mateta, you've all got Mateta, haven't you, in your team? But they've got midweek games for the next 2 weeks.
That's right.
They've got to play Conference League games Thursday after game week 1 and Thursday after game week 2. I think you're all making a massive mistake. And the only reason you've all got him top is because of Review, and Review doesn't know that they're playing these games. So it probably does, but not taking it into account properly, and you're all going to be stuffed.
A question?
That's why the Forest boys look so much better, Trig, because of the fact that they were the ones that were going to have to play midweek. Now they don't. So they're going to, and they play Palace during this time, which is like the ultimate turnover. Instead of Forest playing those 2 games, now it's Palace and Forest get that midweek break.
Yeah, but I think people are making a huge mistake.
Question from Mark, and I know what your answer is going to be, Trig, because he's one of your differentials you picked out on Saturday. Is Fulkrog being overlooked, the West Ham striker?
Yeah, I think he's decent, but he's decent for game week 1. If you're just prepared to buy him for 1 week or 2 weeks and then make a transfer, I think he's pretty good, because you wouldn't want to hold on to him long term. You wouldn't want to base your whole structure around him. Like, you can only fit everyone in because you've got him, because then you're going to be in trouble. But if you want a flyer for 1 or 2 weeks, then he's decent. He's a player reborn. The only danger is Wilson could start taking his minutes once Wilson's fit.
Yeah. I actually really like Fulkrug. He's looked really good in preseason. He's fit, and I think that was half the problem with him last year. I actually did consider him in my own team as well, but I really want Bowen, and I can't consider a double up on the West Ham attack. That seems a bit out there. But yeah, I think that he'd be great if he's got if he's your 8th attacker, you play him in the good weeks, and then the other weeks you bench him. He's not like a massive, like 6 mil. I suppose people will sit there and go, "Is he better than Mark Gui or whatever his name is?" Yes, he's going to score a lot more points than him, but some people are probably like, "Do I really want to be leaving like a bloke that's 6 mil on my bench every single week?" So I understand that as well. It's just that's why I've got Reindeers in my team, because Evanilson's got a bad game week 1 fixture against Liverpool, but then he goes on and Reindeers goes to the bench. My 5.5 on the bench. Yeah. So I think that's the way I've looked at it. Potentially 6 mil might be a bit too much on the bench if that's your 8th attacker, and I wouldn't be starting a 6 mil forward every week.
If he's making more of a point to the question, he'd be saying, folks, DC points are capped at 2. Folks are going on like they give them internal life. Yeah, I agree with that. Colby said, who will keep a clean sheet first, Fulham or Everton? I'm going to go Everton.
Everton.
Fulham game week 1, Anderson goal.
So much bias.
And two defensive contribution points, and then we'll get Darius on next week.
Quace123 is saying, who scores more by game week 38, Haaland or Salah? Well, according to RobT, it's Salah. It was Haaland, wasn't it? No, actually, but it would have been Salah. I'm going to go
only because of he goes away for 6 weeks, doesn't he?
He does. Yep. Those stats are actually really interesting. Those RobT ones, Gary. I thought Solanke was way too high up. Yep. I was also surprised when Dye actually made the list. Like, I think,
was he on there?
Did he put that list together before Grealish signed for Everton? Because I'm just, I don't quite understand. Like, I thought the Ndiaye bandwagon would completely die off with the news that Grealish has signed for Everton, because that's where Jack Grealish plays, and he hasn't been signed to sit on the bench, because that's why he's left Man City. So, and Barry's been signed to be the forward. Dewsbury Hall's there. Like, where's Ndiaye playing?
There was talk he might go to Italy. I mean, it's not out of the question that he goes.
You
Can't
really
wait for that.
You hate him so much, Darius. You've been shouting him out so much in your, not shouting him out, the opposite, calling him out so much in your videos pre-season.
Yeah, like his underlying attacking numbers is horrible. That's an Everton attacker. Who wants an Everton attacker?
But he has disappeared now from review people's teams, and I think the few of them that have got him left, he has quietly disappeared before deadline. I don't see.
Yeah, I reckon Harry's just baiting everyone in with Ndiaye in his team at the moment.
Exactly. He'll be sitting there on his stream, and Ndiaye will be the one that he takes out. You can guarantee it.
Colm is saying,
100%.
has D-Unit thought about doing a walkabout video? I've still got to do my one for you, Colm, haven't I?
I'd be more likely to do a gym video than a walkabout. I don't really walk anywhere.
Show us those guns, Darius. I was expecting a flex like that. Look at that. Right, we haven't got any more questions. I'll do a little bit of admin. If you've got any questions, do put them in the chat before we finish. So, lads, I'm very excited for the FPL lock-in, which we'll be doing at 9 o'clock on Saturday night, when myself, a very hungover me, because I'm going to be at Fest, Trig, Darius, are you still joining? I believe, and Roberto, we're all at 9 o'clock on Friday night on this channel. We'll all be reacting to game week 1. Who do you think is going to be the most depressed, and who do you think is going to be the most happy out of us?
I reckon when Salah blanks, I'm going to come in like an absolute steam train and go, Trig, you should have listened to Muffin, mate. He squawked at you. He squawked and he squawked, and you ignored him.
I'm just checking the games. Who's playing on Saturday? I haven't even checked.
I've hardly got any players on Saturday, but Andrew, didn't he say you should pick Richarlison as well? And you're picking Solanke in his, microphone video.
Did Richarlison start tonight?
Yeah, he started tonight, yeah.
He's on penalties. I'm telling you, Richarlison, if he's starting, is on penalties over Solanke by a mile. Everyone sits there. All the other people think that Solanke's on penalties. I don't reckon he is.
Yeah, well.
Mind you, if Richarlison starts tonight, it'll probably be Solanke starts on.
Probably.
Well, it's a bit of a worry, though, isn't it? Bit of a worry.
Okay,
Solanke sucked against the crap teams last year.
Channel member, if you want to chat channel memberships, by the way, please hit the join button.
And then they've got Man City in game week 2, haven't they, as well? That's the other thing. They've got Man City in game week 2.
Lobby's question is Sells versus Sanchez and why? I'm not really sure what he means there. Sells versus Sanchez, I mean, it's very close, isn't it, lads? I don't know why he's asking why. I mean, what are your opinions on Sells versus Sanchez?
I'm worried about Donnarumma.
Sorry, I should have said.
Yeah.
Trig, go.
Do you reckon he's going to Chelsea, Trig? Is he going to Chelsea?
Well, it's a possibility. I mean, Man City are apparently after him, aren't they? And they've only just bought Trafford, but
Trafford won't be happy.
Man City look like being the front runner, but he's top class. I mean, before Chelsea put 3 past him, he was unbelievable in the Champions League. He pretty much got them through that Champions League. They wouldn't have got anywhere near the final without Donnarumma. And Chelsea need to come and get him, because Sanchez, although he had a good Club World Cup, is nowhere near the same quality as Donnarumma. They can sell Jackson and a few others. They've got the money. Get him in. And that's why I haven't got Sanchez, just in case.
Right. I hadn't thought of that. I might get Sells in. I almost had Sells in the other night. Darius?
Sells is easy. I mean, just all you have to do is look at the fixtures for the first 6. And I'm looking at them now. And the FDR, if you look at Chelsea's one, right? So they've got Crystal Palace at home. I expect Palace to score on the weekend. I think Chelsea will win, but I think Palace will score. West Ham away is never easy. It's a London derby. Fulham at home, I think they'll keep a clean sheet against Fulham. Brentford away, potentially, but Brentford have always been pretty good at home. Then they've got Manchester United away. They're not keeping a clean sheet there. And Brighton at home in game week 6, potentially they could keep a clean sheet. But then if you look at Nottingham Forest, first 6 weeks, Brentford at home, I still think that game reeks of 0-0 on Sunday or Saturday, whenever it is. I just can't see any goals in that game. I could see 2 shutouts. That's why I want Collins and Milinkovic for that game in particular. Crystal Palace away in between the European games. They could easily keep a clean sheet there. Then they've got West Ham at home, Arsenal away. And I did want to talk about this with my draft before. I'm actively looking at a free hit 4, because the 1 week where I do want Mo Salah is game week 4, when he's at home he's away to Burnley.
He's away.
And Liverpool away to Burnley. Nottingham Forest obviously play Arsenal, so I get out of the double Forest defence for that week. And then also in the same week, Crystal Palace play Sunderland and Spurs play West Ham. Now, I'm not going to be going for Spurs players. I just put that in there, baiting all the people that want Spurs assets more than anything else. But Newcastle also play Leeds. Newcastle also play Wolves. That was the fixture that I wanted to raise as well. So that's also really interesting post that international break. So free hit 4 could be good. But Forest, those 6 fixtures, as I said, West Ham, other than the Arsenal one, then they got Burnley, then they got Sunderland. So the first 6 weeks, you'd think that Forest are probably keeping more clean sheets than Sanchez and Chelsea, I think, based on the 6-week block of fixtures. That's why I think that Sells is a better pick.
Lads, we've got about another 5 questions. So I want to try and answer them, and we've got to finish in about 5-10 minutes. So can you keep your answers to 20 seconds or less? I know that would be difficult for you, Darius. Already calculate. And I just wanted to shout out FPL Punk, who is in the chat. He's a fellow content creator. Go and check out his channel. And I may be approaching you later if you're free to come on in a couple of weeks and join us. Verts or Rodgers? Verts for me, that's... Rodgers will get me a 6 million defender. I'd still be on Verts. Trig?
Yeah, I mean, in a vacuum, Verts is best, isn't he? But I'm in the same position with Verts, where there's so much you can do without him. But I'd rather wait until after Liverpool have played Bournemouth before I decide something like that. That's why I don't think you need to decide now. Get Verts for that Bournemouth fixture.
Yep.
Because it could be really good. But if he looks,
20 seconds, Trig.
What did you ask? Sorry?
Verts or Rodgers?
Verts.
Verts, okay. That's how you do 20-second answers, Trig. Quite. Which player do you think will be fed up quickly and go down in value? Isaac. It's got to be Isaac's going to go down in value, isn't he? He's still the second. When we looked at the weekend, Trig, he was still the second highest owned striker in the game, wasn't he? From the casuals.
I think Watkins.
Really? Why?
Well, if he blanks, then a lot of people are going to go to the Arsenal striker. And if people have got Watkins and Strand Larsen, both of them blank in game week 1, and they're going to want whoever's one of the 7.5s or whatever, 20 seconds off.
Darius?
The Andersons both going to go down in value in the first 3 game weeks. You heard it here first. Van de Ven will do his hamstring. He'll also go down in value. And in Die, when everyone realizes he just needs to die, will also go down in value.
Mark, who are you thinking about the first triple captain and which weeks? First triple captain. Whoever's got a good fixture in a good week when I'm not playing another chip. I've not thought about it. Darius?
I'm going to give you guys all a sneak peek. I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes on a week, which I think he'll pop off. Not sure yet, but there'll be a week where I think he'll be great and I'll pop it on him.
Well, on Elite FPL, who are streaming at 8 o'clock straight after, that's why we're finishing dead on 8 o'clock. I think Jason or Steve was also talking about that. Trig?
What was the question?
Triple captain first half of the season when...
Oh, I have no idea. When somebody's playing the worst team in the league.
Exactly. Pudner says, didn't Chelsea just put goals past Donnarumma to win the trophy? Why would he go there?
Yep. Because he knows Chelsea are the best team. He's been beaten by the world champions. He knows that's where he wants to be if he wants to win a trophy.
What do we think of Semedo, says Yukino? I love him. He was in my draft up until... Actually, the Anderson thing, if you want to talk about boring picks, I took Semenyo out for Anderson. I love that guy to bits. And yeah, if I'd have had him in my team on game week 38 last season, I would have got a top 100k finish. I'm saying 20 seconds ago. My channel, I'm allowed to respond. Darius, what do you think, Semenyo?
Semenyo is a great pick, and if you dropped him for Anderson, you should just reverse the decision.
Well, I think we know your views. We know your views. Trig?
It's a price, isn't it, with Semenyo Anderson?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
2 million difference, isn't there?
1.5. I mean, I do want a Bournemouth attacker. I think I may end up on Evan Nilsson, Darius. I don't want to be without a Bournemouth attacker because after that Liverpool game,
that's why I wanted him instead of Strand Larsen.
Yeah, because they've got good fixtures. And
yeah, after game week 1, it's great for an attacking sense.
Yeah, especially if it ends up being on penalties. Right, okay. Let's wrap up, guys. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Please join us for the FPL lock-in at 9 o'clock on Saturday night. It's going to be crazy. going to be me, very hungover, Darius, Nick, and Roberto of the Form is Temporary podcast. Please join our mini league. You can click on the description, the link in the description below, which will automatically sign you up. The league code is S3DHWZ. Yep, I've already said that. Please like, please subscribe. Please, all of the money from these streams goes to Mind and Streetcard United. If you wish to donate to either charity, the description is in the link below. And yes, so Steve-O is actually one of our apparent regular co-hosts. He's not actually appeared on the channel yet this season, mainly because he's doing so much on Elite FPL. But we love Elite FPL, and they... last week, guys, we gave them the perfect handover. We literally gave them the perfect handover for 8 o'clock, and they had loads of people waiting, and they didn't start to 8:30. So hopefully they will actually start at 8 o'clock. Please go over to Elite FPL when we finish in a second, unless you're watching the Tottenham game. Lads, I'll hand over to you, let you plug your channels quickly, and any final thoughts before we go. Darius?
Yeah, I've just whacked my channel link in the chat, so anyone wants to check me out, I'll be there. Gary and Trig and that are going to be all coming on my channel for live watch-alongs this year, which I'm very excited about at some point. But maybe Trig, when he's back from the wilderness, so that way he's not on a delay, because it's not going to be no good if he's a minute behind the goals going in.
We should be good. You in Australia, me in New Zealand. I think once I get my fast internet back, it should work well.
Yeah, Trig,
I
do
agree.
you want to plug your channel, mate?
Oh, Trig Talks FPL. You know where it is. If you don't, you don't deserve to watch my great content anyway. And I've just seen the Tottenham lineup, and I don't know why I've got 2 Tottenham players in my team, to be honest.
Yeah.
What a shambles they look, don't they? We'll see in the next hour and a half, but I think my team might well be changing by 9 o'clock tonight.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please do join us for the FPL lock-in on Saturday night, and we will be back for a Game Week 2 preview, and to commiserate on how badly we've done last week at the same time next week. Bye, everyone.